Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. My name is Roy, aka Bloody Bananas, and in this video we will focus specifically on how to handle the SQL question on a technical data science interview. A SQL question is the most common question that you will see during a data science interview because it's very important for the employer to make sure you have the basic ability to pull queries so that you can have the data for analysis or building a model, right? So you will see this question almost every single time, and I would love to share some of the tips and tricks that I learned along the way while I was preparing for these type of interviews. And without further ado, let's get started with the video. So generally, the first thing that you want to do when they tell you what the question is that you want to clarify the problem. And this one is extremely important. It's kind of became a tradition. A lot of times when you see a question, I understand that you just want to dig in, you want to start writing because the time is taking, but it's actually really important to convey to the interviewer that you're trying to not make mistake. You're trying to confirm all the assumptions that you have in your mind. Even though it's so obvious what the joint index will be, you still want to ask about it, especially if the column names are different between two tables. You want to make sure that you ask, is this a column from table 1 the joint index for this column in table 2? You want to make sure that that is correct. And it's just very important to convey that information to the interviewer that you're trying to be correct, right? You also want to make assumptions. You want to talk about maybe missing values, how we treat them. And you want to confirm that the output that you're thinking in your mind also is similar to what they have in their mind. Basically, if you have any ambiguity, if you see any ambiguity at all, you want to confirm that with the interviewer. And almost every time they will leave the question a little bit ambiguous just so that you guys can ask these type of questions. So it's very important to ask questions before you proceed. And I didn't know this trick before when I first started interviewing for these SQL questions. And then someone pointed that out to me, and I started realizing that this was actually a very big deal. So definitely, if you guys see a SQL question you want to keep in mind, or if for any programming question at that you want to clarify the problem before you proceed. And the next trick that I will give you guys is that you want to write down your steps. For me, this is my favorite tip of all times. When I'm writing this SQL query, a lot of times you're imagining in your head, but it's very hard to pull everything together, right? To think about all the steps together and then start writing them. And when you start writing them, you might forget about the next step. And so my advice is to write down all the steps. And after you write down all the steps, the question becomes much more easier for you to write as well. For example, let's say you are tasked with the question to find the sum of this specific categorical variable when it's equal to a certain level or a certain group. And so we're going to say, and there's a join. So we're going to say step 1, we're going to join table A with table B on column 1 and column 2. Column 1 from A and column 2 from B. For these steps, you can type them down in the code share with your interviewer, and it helps to convey the interviewer what you're thinking in your mind as well. Again, communication is actually a big key for answering these programming questions. And then you can write down step 2. Okay, we want to convert this column, categorical column, into numerical with a case 1 statement so that it's 1 when it's a certain group. And then we can find the sum of this group, and then we're going to group by a column 1. Again, I don't know what the question is. I'm just making up everything here, right? I'm just assuming there's step 1, step 2, step 3. And then for the final step, you say, okay, we want to select these columns that we have from this join table. And then we're going to order by a certain column or certain columns. So after you write these down, you can start writing the queries much easier, because you can literally just follow the steps. First, write the table, left join, on, done, and then you move forward to step 2. So this is my my favorite trick of all time. After you write down these steps, the question becomes much easier, and in the meantime, you're communicating. You're spending time communicating with your interviewer. So that's generally a big plus as well. And the very next tip, of course, is just to practice. And there's really no secret that practice will make you much better, especially when it comes to programming, because a lot of questions, after you've seen them and then you see a similar question in the future, you will be able to answer it very quickly. And the more you practice, the more confidence you will show during an interview, because you know how to answer the question. Maybe you've seen the question before already, right? So a lot of times you just want to keep calm and practice 40 hours a day. And again, I want to mention this website called Strata Scratch. It's extremely helpful when it comes to preparing for SQL interviews, because it has questions that are just so similar to the questions that are asked by those companies. And the website actually labels those questions by the companies. For example, it could be Amazon, Apple, Google, could be one of those companies. And the questions are catered specifically for those questions, and it's extremely helpful. HackerRank and LeetCode, they prepare your SQL skills on a more general sense, whereas Strata Scratch prepares your SQL skills for these interviews specifically. So again, I highly recommend this website. I'm not even sponsored by them, but I just love mentioning this website because it's super helpful. Everyone that I've talked to, that I've helped along the way, preparing for a data science interview, I've told them about this website. I always tell people, if you've done all these questions on Strata Scratch, just the free ones, I'm pretty sure they have a premium one as well, but for me, I did all the free ones, and I feel like I was able to answer most of the SQL question coming my way. So that's what I always tell people as well. Just do all the questions on Strata Scratch and make sure you understand every single question, right? And then I think you'll be fine. With that being said, that concludes the video. I hope this video helps you guys to prepare for your SQL question for a data science technical interview. If you find this helpful, comment below and hit the like button and subscribe for more. For my next video, I'm not sure what it will be yet, but we'll dive into something else, right? So definitely stay tuned if you're interested in a data science career, because that's what we will be focusing on. And see you guys later.